if it can be designed like that, I don't know, but it just seems to make some sense to at least look at. I don't know all the other parameters associated with it. It's already got a courtroom. I think it's got all the technology there, or at least available to it from the other courtrooms versus having to run it down. So that's just something to consider. I don't know if it's viable or not. The other thing is, we got a judge coming on October 1st. No, he said he'd wait. We met with him Friday. State starts paying him when he gets sworn in.
Oh.
My understanding. Now, I may be wrong about that. So we have a meeting this week, hopefully, to talk with the district clerk about case distribution, how we're going to do that, because we're thinking about doing some other things that we think will help case flow better, plus the other two judges love it, from their backgrounds and position, to where the 272nd, I don't know, we got media in here, but this is not confirmed in any way, but where the 272nd, and we've got to run it by the bar, the local bar. We got to make sure that it's not going to upset them in some way, fashion, or form. But I've talked to a couple of lawyers, and everybody likes at least looking at the idea, whether it comes to fruition or not. But we're talking about making the 272nd and the 361st simply handle, and it's not simply, that's probably the wrong term, handle all criminal cases. The new civil court handling civil cases, as it was designated to do, although it just says primarily, so it doesn't mean it can't do, and it can't do legally. It's a constitutional court, so it's got to be able to handle all aspects of the jurisdiction of a district court. Doing all civil, which includes juvenile work, and my court stay in a general jurisdiction where I handle both civil and criminal. We think that would be real efficient for the criminal cases, and including any increased caseload that we take on because of population growth. We're not way behind as far as caseload is concerned. We can get there real quick if we have some other blip that keeps us from being able to try cases. But right now, I know my court's not way behind, and neither are the other two courts as far as I know. But we've got to do something about housing the new court starting October 1, including staffing, which is not in the budget, obviously. So I don't know what, I just bring that up. I don't know if y'all got any questions, or you can say, no, that's not going to happen. I don't know what we do with that, because then if it becomes just the practicalities of it don't fit well. If you say, okay, well, the state's going to pay him, but he doesn't have a courtroom, he's not going to be doing anything. Well, he's going to be running for re-election at the same time. So if we say a year and a half, he starts January 1, 2025, he's basically running for re-election and not sitting on the bench. So I didn't know whether this was the right forum to do that, but I thought maybe it was the best time to bring it up so everybody can start thinking about it, see whatever. 85th District Court is available. I know there's other things that are going on there, but I think we and the other two judges and myself talked about it. I think we can accommodate it in some way, fashion, or form, where there may be some need for use of our courtrooms by whether it's him or some other people or departments that are using that courtroom. If we can ever just get it together and coordinate it all, I think it can be done. There's no promises on that. We may sit down in this meeting come whenever that is this week, because we got to sit down with Gabe, talk with him about it. Okay. But may come to a crashing halt from that perspective when somebody brings up something we hadn't thought about. That's why we all want to get together in the same room and kind of talk about it.
So all on the fourth floor would be good from your perspective? Security?
Well, it's got advantages and disadvantages. I think the security part of it's really optimal and really inviting. Problem with that is that we all four have jury trials going on. It's getting really crowded.
Yeah.
So, but we're not on the same We can adjust that to some extent, to where it's basically just operating like it is right now. I mean, we were doing all three of us on the same trial schedule, and so we had 3 juries showing up at the same time. And it wasn't optimal, but it worked. So we can at least keep it where there's probably just 3 trials going on at the same time instead of 4.
Okay, impact relative to budget, then we're talking about the budget that was the $1 million allocation for renovation of existing space.
Also talking about staff. 500
Staff's what
grand.
I'm talking about.
Okay.
You're talking about $500,000 in
Right.
staff,
Right.
probably, and equipment.
Yeah,
I mean, you can ask Katie, she knows.
It's
the
500
number.
for
That's-
I think
ongoing.
mine's like 460.
okay. Okay, that's
Is
the
it more
net.
than that? Okay, whatever
Everybody's
she
over
tells you it is.
500, let's just go with that.
So
Whatever
that's-
she tells you it is, it is. Maybe 550. Does that sound closer?
No, 510,
Okay.
but I'll take 500.
Well, right now, we'll take anything we can get. I mean, we
Gotta
got
throw
0.
that- Yes,
So,
it would be approximately 500,000. Now, it would go up because we haven't considered furniture and computers, but we don't have any budget.
Okay, so the objective is to figure out when that starts.
I don't know, we got a start date. Problem is, can we put it together by then? I mean, he's gonna start taking cases October 1st.
Okay,
Of some sort. It may be one case, but he's gonna start getting into the rotation, the docket distribution rotation off the clerk's wheel October 1st. That's what we're anticipating.
Changing courtrooms isn't as strenuous as staff. I don't know that staff can be transient for long, for a year.
Well, yeah.
I think the judge can,
and
more so than the staff.
I haven't looked at the OCA numbers, but what you're saying is we're still, we didn't get into the bind that a lot of counties got into during COVID. We're still disposing of cases at a comparable rate to additional cases.
I don't know this for a fact, but I'm gonna boast a little bit. I think if we're not at the top, we're probably one of the top churning
Yeah.
counties in the state.
Well, I know that y'all have over the numbers where, if I remember correctly, you're disposing of more than 100% of the new cases.
I think we're a little bit behind that.
Okay.
Which is, I think is to be expected, but I can tell you I had 2 attorneys from Austin in my courtroom last week, or 2 weeks ago. Apparently, they just started trying cases about 6 months ago.
From COVID.
We've been doing it since August
Yep.
of 2020.
Oh, I hear it when I go to commissioners and judges conventions and stuff, and I particularly hear it from urban counties.
Mhm.
So thank y'all for.
So that, well, that's not, we're not here to do that. I'm just trying to get this judge up and running. He couldn't be here. I was gonna have him come over here and listen, but he's getting information from us anyway. We sat down with lunch and he asked all the appropriate questions about court reporters and court coordinators and the most important people to talk to. And of course, we turned over Katie's number to him, so he'll tell him. Says, if you want money, you better
The
talk to
buck
this
stops
lady.
here, huh? I love it.
So,
Thank you.
all right, I don't have anything further unless y'all have some questions.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you, Judge. Anybody else? Okay, so y'all have anything else?
No, we're done for today. We have workshop tomorrow. We have 3 outside agencies coming because they've requested more than in the current budget. And if we have any general fund updates, we'll let you know tomorrow.
And then refresh my memory, when are we targeting approving a budget and the proposed tax rate, having a proposed budget and a proposed tax rate so we can set up our time for our hearings
We're looking at a proposed budget on September 5th, public hearing and adoption on September 19th. Biggest challenge is going to be getting it in the newspaper.
It's gonna count for a full 10 days.
Since it's
Well,
only, since
we
it's
can't put
not,
it-
since
my
it's not
problem is-
published daily anymore?
We can't put it in the newspaper until you decide, and that deadline on Monday at 5 PM is not conducive to that. That's going to be interesting.
You mean this coming Monday?
So September
5th and 19th.
5th is proposed budget and proposed tax rate.
And if we could publish it in the newspaper to count for the for amount of days we have to have it in the newspaper due to the statute, then we would have everything, all the public hearings on the 19th morning or the day before if it accounts for it.
So there's
It's
enough
gonna be a
time.
tight schedule. Because we have to meet the statute deadlines.
It's 10 days for public hearing, 10 days after the proposed for the public hearing, and that's the big cruncher. Because we can't publish without a
Okay.
proposed rate.
So that's the difference, the 14 days difference between the 10-day requirement is because the ability to publish it?
And if we don't have it published, if we don't have a date or a tax rate by Monday at 5 PM, then it will not run until Saturday of that week.
Yeah.
And we can't do Monday at 5 PM because they will not have proposed yet. Because don't we have to put the proposed budget on a regular agenda? A
Yes.
regular Commissioners Court agenda. We can't have a special session for it.
No.
So, follow that?
Do we
I
need
can't,
to?
I can't, my crystal ball will not cover
Okay.
the tax rate, proposed tax rate, so.
Gotcha. Do we need to accelerate that to give us a little more of a window, or is that still reasonable?
Accelerate the dates,
Yeah.
make it 3 weeks in between. Really the only way we could do, basically 3 weeks.
Well, the statute states we have 10 days after proposed to adopt.
Yeah,
Okay.
so no.
So notice would be okay in the 14 days, so, all right.
Yeah, we'll probably, yeah.
But
Okay.
if it won't run into the Wednesday till Saturday, it will not be 10 days.
Wow,
We'll have to figure something out.
there's an idea for the legislature, isn't there?
Yes.
They wouldn't let them
Put it on the website, no newspaper.
post it online.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, we'll adjourn.
Thanks,
Thank you.
y'all.